and welcome to a side stream after war. This is one of our many tales of war that we're going to be having during the course of the Horned Rat episodes, and this is the first one after our mini-games over the course of Christmas and into the new year. If you were paying attention to the end of our... it wasn't really our last session, it was more of our last mini-game, where we all sat down and we saw what was happening in the catacombs beneath the Middle Mountains. You'll have noted that there was some benefits that our PCs managed to gather to themselves. Some PCs more than others. So we are going to be dealing with one of those PCs. The question is, which one? It's our favorite Alamennowyth elf! Yay! Okay, so we are going to be picking up with Alamennowyth post the battle. Now, let's provide a little bit of context here so that we understand exactly what she has just been through. Obviously, she did her quick tour of the camps, and then hiked it over towards the centre in Brasskeep, abandoning Lucas to his fate at Elric's suggestion. He was making his way back to the Middenheim camp while you made your way into Brasskeep. As you got closer, the magics grew wilder and wilder until eventually you got there and there was cultists and there was demons and there was all sorts of horror. You fought your way through to the top of Brasskeep. The storm of magic was brought to an end and all of the craziness sort of ground to a halt. But this was also the call, the horn, if you will, of war that caused all of the various groups around Brasskeep to finally make their attack. It's worth noting, though, that they themselves had recently been through the horror of the storm of magic as well. Some of them in a better place than others, because some of them were already prepared for the potential of magic going out of control. Others were much less so. And as we saw with our funky little side episode where Lucas and his little dog were having a good wander around, things got pretty crazy. It wasn't just crazy, of course, for you. After the battle, where the Jaegers had escaped from Brasskeep, made their way down from that ruin, the shattered walls, the crumbling masonry from ages past, broken and strewn with corpses as they made their way over. Fireballs were thrown by Elric. Spells of mist were wrapped around the group by yourself as you made your way over, and then battle tongue calls were shot over the battlefield by both Elric and Leopold to try and advise what was going on here, which wasn't as simple as it might have appeared from their side. From their side, they just saw lots of troops moving in and around Brasskeep, and they were pelting it and firing at and attempting to defend from the various troops that were all around, where you had a superb view from the very centre at the top of the tower, where you got an opportunity to see everything that was occurring, and most importantly, where the Skaven were coming from. So that was communicated over, and it gave you an almost unique position where you were providing them with intelligence from the battle, which put you in a pretty good place for the camp when eventually you met up. We're not going to sit and deal with all the details of meeting up with the camp. That's going to be dealt with over in the group stream. We're going to be dealing with what happens when Alamennowyth and the rest of the group settle down that evening. So this is the evening after the day before. This is after all the conflict has died down. This is after the grave details have withdrawn from the battlefield with all of the corpses. The tallies have been counted. The priests of Mor are gathering the corpses, and the Mourners Guild are chanting with their incense. Hochlander accents can be heard in many quarters here, but interestingly not all, because this isn't a Hochlander army. For all we are in Hochland, this is a mercenary army. And the Grudgebringers, such as they are, recruit from wherever they happen to be. They pay well, but they also only pay for trained soldiers. Meaning that there are a large number of Hochlanders here, but there are also a large number of Reichlanders, Sturlanders, Visenlanders, Nullners, indeed, large parts of the Empire and beyond. At least a quarter of the force comes from the borderlands.
Oh, okay, because I've got a minor objective and a major objective then to talk about.
So the question is, as night is drawing in, and all those humans who apparently need sleep, begin to slowly drift off to sleep. The only one who tends not to sleep as much out of the rest of the Jaegers is Leopold. Leopold tends to spend a lot of his night praying. He sleeps about half as much as everybody else. And you're not sure whether it's because he's just drowning out the complaints and moans of others that he sits there mumbling his prayers, allowing his own voice to provide him with almost the meditative state that he moves into, or whether he is in fact just listening to everything that's going around and his mumbled prayers aren't doing enough to cover the voices that are all around. You are, however, in a camp where, at least at this point, you don't necessarily feel safe. How could anyone feel safe? We're high up in the Middle Mountains, in a shattered camp where the soldiers have, well, they've not lost half their number, but half their number have been wounded. They have lost a lot of soldiers here. It's a victory that was costly. But there was an enormous number of cultists, beastmen, Skaven, and worse arrayed against them. They fared very well, given everything that was there. But it's a camp that, in some respects, you've helped, if not necessarily saved. You provide very useful information on the battlefield that allowed decisions to be made by those in command that were beneficial for the Grudgebringers as a whole. You saved a lot of lives, meaning that your party is in the good books, which is not common. If we're being honest, it's not common. The powers that be are not against you. Now, the commander won't be speaking to you until tomorrow, far too busy, also tired. He's got lots of things that he needs to do kicking around here anyway. So you are left to your own devices, be they primary or secondary goals. So the question is, as the rest of the party are slipping away off to slumber, and Elric is falling into terrible nightmares, Yume's looking on with some half concern until eventually she passes out because she's absolutely knackered. Leopold's watching over everybody as he prays, and Gerhardt is already completely gone. Birdie is now de-armored and sleeping in her tent with her squire looking on from the outside. He won't sleep until she wakes up in the morning, then he'll grab himself some 40 winks.
That's rubbish.
It's a tough life being a squire, especially for someone who has no idea what they're doing. And of course, Emmanuel, who has been told by Leopold to go to sleep.
And Sakinsky.
Sakinsky's nowhere to be seen,
at
least not at this point. So you're leaving them behind. What is your plan?
Right. Well, how long do I think it would take to get back to the Middenheim camp?
If you move at your full speed, possibly quickly.
Yeah.
Possibly. In that you could probably get over there in a couple of hours. Maybe fewer. You are not short-legged, but beyond that, you're also swift, and you already know the route. The sky is clear. It is summer, and for all it's really cold, there's more than enough night light.
So she won't need to carry a lantern.
Yeah, to Alamennowyth's eyes, it's almost the equivalent of human daylight.
Yeah, so her plan is to run to the camp because she's worried about Lucas. And she knows that that's where he was heading for, so she wants to at least check whether he got back. And two... Are
you going to tell anybody that you're going to go? Now, often you don't because you are, at one with the shadow.
A spy.
Yeah, quite. But do you want to make sure that somebody is aware that you've left? Lest they arrive in your bed.
I was going to tell Sakinsky, but unfortunately I can't see
unfortunately,
him.
Sakinsky has also decided that he has his own business to attend to.
I'm just going to tell the squire that if anyone asks, I'm going round the camp to see if anyone has news of my wife.
That makes sense.
Because if there's Borderlander, that's my secondary objective, is to find out if anyone has news of her mercenary group, if they've worked in that group, if there's some crossover.
Yeah, marvelous.
I wish I could remember her last name, but I can't.
Wow, Nuvala.
Thanks, Nuvala.
Wow.
Yeah, Nuvala's.
That's her wife. Let's just make sure that that's clear. That's her wife. Okay, so yes, Nuvala.
Nuvala's. Yeah, but what are they called? The mercenary company.
Just wow. Nuvala's mercenaries.
Yeah. Alamennowyth hasn't forgotten.
So that's a secondary goal, is to go check out
just do some
the Marauders.
I was tempted to do that first because the soldiers will be up and drinking, but I really kind of want to get to the Middenheim camp and back.
As fast as
it
possible.
Seems safer to do it now.
Yeah,
and be
that
back,
makes sense.
by midnight if I ran.
Okay, that makes sense. So the squire, Gerald, is yawning slightly as he sees you come over and immediately stiffens up his back. He's wearing leathers of the Knight's Panther with the Knight's Panther symbol, a single panther head open up with the tongue sticking out and a crown sitting above it to show that he is part of the group that is attached directly to the Elector Count of Middenheim, unlike the rest of the Knight's Panther who are not attached to the Middenheim Elector Counts. He looks up and sees that you aren't just passing to go and speak to Birdie and immediately looks slightly scared as his face stiffens and he looks not so much at you but more past you, across your shoulder, as if looking at you directly might be dangerous to his health. Maybe he'll even turn into a pillar of salt.
Squire, if anyone asks, I am going for a walk in the camp to see if I can find any old companions from my previous mercenary band.
Oh, of course not. Should I tell Lady Helston?
No, only if she inquires.
Of course.
Let her have her rest.
Of course. You hear a low snore coming from Birdie through in the other room. Her hand is just visible hanging off the side of her cot where she's already passed out. Her fingernails are dirty. He has said what he said. What you
have a good evening.
Well,
right. I'm going.
So where are you going?
Going into the camp and then going towards the gates.
So we have two issues. Number one, they have locked off the mountain passes. They don't want anyone coming in or out. Now, for somebody who is particularly stealthy, perhaps a spy, perhaps even someone who knows a little bit of magic, it's not necessarily impossible for you to slip by. But that would be you purposefully going against the intention of the camp, which is currently to be on lockdown. Just making sure that you're not going to come back and say, you didn't tell me that might upset them, Andy. Because indeed, it might upset them. I trust that you don't particularly care, but nevertheless, you have been forewarned.
Fine.
How do you intend to pass through? Are you going to make any special efforts, or are we just going to try and dodge our way out of their line of sight and then move on to the core path? Yep. Are you going to be using any magic, or are we quite happy just using your mundane elf bullshit to get yourself over there?
I'll just use mundane elfiness, because my spells are not great for...
That sounds...
They stop people tracking me, but I don't really care if they track me. I'm going to the Middenheim.
That sounds perfect. Okay, so do yourself, please, a stealth urban.
That's a great roll. It is not.
Doesn't sound like a great roll to me.
It's not, but hang on. Let me just... Sorry, my... Are they actively looking for me?
No. Well, they are actively looking across that path, so sort of, yes, actually, yeah.
So it's urban, not rural.
Sorry, rural. I meant to say rural. Okay. Oh, what a mistake of Jamaica. Yeah.
Because I've got rural. Silent step rural.
Oh, that helps.
So if they weren't actively looking.
Yeah, but they are actively looking in this area. There's a place where the guards are actively looking for any folks who might be in the area. Fortune points. Okay, go for it.
Oh, that's more like it. 6, 7.
And have you added on the... Yeah, you have. Good. As she slips out beyond the boundary, do yourself a climb test. Which she fails.
Which she fumbles.
Wow.
And then 5 successes.
Superb. She almost trips over a loose log that has been left out from the palisade when they were creating it. She makes her way over to a lower part of that, steps up the side of one of the more permanent defensive points, hops over the palisade, drops down the other side into what is, as far as most of the humans are concerned, darkness.
I hope the resident elf isn't watching. Oh, another toddler.
Being a terrible elf.
Being a terrible elf.
On the other side, again, so that we are very clear, the darkness, as far as she's concerned, is about the equivalent of us just before we we hit twilight.
Mm.
It's really quite, as far as she's concerned, bright. She can see almost as good as if it was a clear summer's day. And to the humans, their eyesight has dropped down to not more than, unless somebody puts a light up, not more than maybe a score or so yards. Not very many, 20, 30, 40 paces.
So she'll creep for a little bit so she doesn't get shot in the dark and then run.
You be to blame.
Huh.
So that being the case, there is an outside chance that...
someone will shoot you.
Yeah, so could I please have a perception test?
Oh my God. Oh no, that's a success. Oh my God. 8. Is it sight? Forest or surprise?
Yes.
Well, which one?
It's sight.
Okay, 9 successes.
Ah, sweet. As you make your way along, the core path now, between the camp where Hochland hold and Middenheim holds, there's a long wending path, and it twists back on itself and doubles back and switches back multiple times, going both up and down in elevation as it makes its way around some rather precarious looking cliffs and then across through some rather towering looking bits of stone, then down into some smaller valleys. Down in the depths of the valleys themselves, it's a bit colder where the sun hasn't reached it and the frost has rimed everything, causing your feet to crunch as they make their way across the, let's call it a path. Down at this point, it's more like almost the bed of a stream that's long since dried up. As you crunch your way over there, and then start pushing your way up the other side. Wildlife here is certainly a thing, but whatever wildlife used to be here has gone. The storm of magic has driven it away. Anything that used to live here has gone, except for crows. In your time as you make your way over, you spot at least 3 of them. And as you make your way up an opposite side, and you can see right down into what feels like the great crater bowl, the center of which has Brass Keep. And you can see Brass Keep rising out from that, almost at an angle, the Leaning Tower of Brass, for example, with its shattered walls all around it. You can see small lights and a small green pinprick of light coming from some parts of it as well, suggesting that not all is as well as it could be over at Brass Keep. As you're looking over at those, and looking over at the great big dip, for a brief moment, you can see into the dip.
Oh.
And you can see a great city lying beneath. But it's the briefest of moments, like a heartbeat, and you feel like you can see an enormous ancient city, and Brass Keep is the top tower. It isn't a keep sitting in a great bowl. It's the top tower of an ancient city.
An elven city? Is it too quick?
How could you tell?
Because it's like tall towers, not like human. You could tell if it was human city.
It's not what you would call a human city. Let's say yes, then. If you're defining it by tall towers,
but
I'm happy with that.
It's not a human city, as I know them.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it feels like a trick of the eye. As if you've not really seen this, because it's back to just being cold and the wind whipping and her hair catching in it.
You'll just ignore it.
As you scramble up the other side. It takes her about another hour from that point.
Right in saying that the humans associate crows with bad, like, Nurgle stuff. In that they, like, kill crows.
There's crow posts all over the Empire.
And ravens are Moors. But for elves, crows are...
They're complicated.
Complicated, gotcha. Okay.
As you make your way up the other side, and again, spot over in by a blasted, what appears to be cave, life, whatever life there was there, has come to a swift end. There's corpses of animals all the way around the outside of this cave, and not in an animal has come out and decided to eat these type of fashion. It looks like they all died here for one reason or another. Magic is also whipping around here. The Ulgu clouds, which you can see clearly, have risen up and are reaching out towards you as if to say, come into the cave, Alamennowyth. Come into the cave. It's welcoming, definitely not full of lies, and definitely not full of treachery. The treacherous nature of Ulgu is making itself clear. It's dangerous in there. You can hear it because it's pretending it's not.
Wow. Okay.
Something is in there.
Something intelligent.
Now, it could be the remnants of something from the storm. It could be something from the storm that hit. It could be something from the armies. But something is in there, and it has killed the animals not to eat, but just to simply have no life about it.
I'll just run now.
Do yourself an athletics test.
4 successes.
Crunch, 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 crunch. And as I said, it's about an hour before she eventually sees the firelights of the big wall that holds off the Middenheim side of the bowl. The shattered camps on the other side, where there were some rather broken people last time you were here. On the outside of that wall, as you look down from your vantage point, almost like a scout or a spy, you can see that there are still a lot of corpses out there. Some of them being piled up into large, well, they look like they're probably going to be burnt at some point, but they've yet to be burnt. They're probably waiting for oil to arrive so that they can oil them up and then burn them. But they have yet to be, some of the corpses have been gathered, but others, beastmen, are spread out over some 2 miles. And moving all the way up into the foothills, not really the best way to describe it, but at least the crags of that side of the bowl, which is deep to the south of where Brass Keep is. And there are corpses all around. As you get an idea that Middenheim definitely was involved with the hostilities as you make your way down. You are challenged if you wish to be challenged, or alternatively, you could try and slip in.
I think I'll be challenged because I think this looks a little bit more impregnable than the last one.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But at the same point, you've been here already. You're fully aware that they're understaffed. There's not a lot of them. And they've recently been through not just the battle, but also the storm of magic that came before that. And the storm, who knows what they went through? It could have been nothing. It could have been everything. For all you know, their entire life could have been shattered. They could be all insane. Who knows what you're about to encounter?
And maybe I'll just sneak in.
Or at least get closer to have a look.
They might think elves are like evil, like those Ulricans did.
Yeah. Wow, you're really... I apologise she brings this up all the time, but the Ulricans, what did her wrong, happened pre-stream. This was over 2 years ago in our time. This is not even in game time. This is in our time. Alamennowyth is still harbouring a grudge against those damned Ulricans.
Dishonourable.
Dishonourable dogs.
Not even dogs. Curs.
Quite. So, taking it cautiously might be the best way to describe what you're doing. So not necessarily creeping in, but creeping up to assess what they're like and then determining from that. Okay, then do yourself an intuition test as you get an opportunity to have a good look at those.
Hooray! 1 success. I just keep on failing.
They are definitely human. And 1 success, did you say? That's not a fail, that's a success if you've passed.
Yeah, but it's 2 successes.
Could be worse.
Because I've got a boon, so 2 successes.
What's your boon for, just so I know? You haven't marked
it's
it.
for empathic, I think.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Yeah, intuition is
the 2 guards who are down there, and there are just 2. It's not a large embankment of them sitting at the side of a wall and guarding over the gate. There's 2 on the outside, one of which is sitting on a small stool, picking at his teeth and pinging out bits of gristle. The other of which is Fiona into his hands are bearded fellows, probably in their mid-20s. So relatively, you'd guess, experienced soldiers. One of whom has got a bandage on his right arm, but he clearly is capable of using his arm because he's holding in it a half-rotten pear. And to the other side, he's got a pretty bad-looking cut in his face, which has still got blood down the side. They've clearly been engaged recently, but neither of them look, to your understanding, insane. Out of their little tiny human brains.
Yeah, they're not like...
One of them's just picking his teeth and the other one's sort of looking at the pear and picking around it.
I'll wave. Hello, the gate.
As the one who was picking its teeth pings his bit of wood, pardon me, and immediately pulls a sword and looks out into the darkness. And calls out, "Hey up, who goes there?"
Alamennowyth, hero of Middenheim. I bring word from the camp.
Using her title. Now, you've been in the camp already. Young Jaegers have passed through this camp. It's quite likely he may be aware of you. I'm going to find out. Somewhat disappointingly, he is aware of you. It's always more fun when they're not. As he looks out and he says, "Well, track was shut down by them boy over there," he says, somewhat confusingly.
And
Them they're over there.
I felt it important to bring word.
He says, "There are all sorts of..." And the other one says, "Shh." And he says, "Trouble."
It is quiet on the road now.
He says, "Well, word's been told. Off you go now."
No, I need to
He
speak with
says-
the commander.
Looks for the other one. He looks at his peer, looks at him, shrugs. He goes, "Oh, wait, it's Sergeant now."
I need to speak with the sergeant. I must provide him word for Middenheim.
Under his breath, he quite clearly says, "You're not at any stretch to hear." Fuck. He's going to have no idea what to do with this. Fuck. And then says a little bit more loudly, "Right." He says, and looks at him and his arm. I'll go in myself. He says, You engage her." "Right." He says, "Good night for it."
Have you seen one of our companions pass through? Older man, an eye patch with a skull on it? Is that
And it's
right?
got skull on it.
With a skull on it.
He's badass, remember?
And a dog, a small yappy dog.
Oh, you don't know that he had the dog. The dog
Oh no,
wakes
the
up with him
dog
later.
just ran
Yeah.
separately, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Man, eye
say
patch.
that one more time.
One of our companions, has he passed through or is in the camp? Older man with an eye patch with a skull on it.
He frowns and says, "That poor fellow that came in with you."
Yes. Has he been back?
I don't know. I didn't see him." He says, "I hear you suck the seed out of men and leave them with the husks in the forest. Is that true?"
Me personally or elves?
"What, have you done it?" "I hear it's a way to go, it is."
Well, I have not done such a thing.
But does it happen?
Well, I cannot speak for all my people, but as a rule, they do not murder people.
My cousin says that his friend, he was strung up by his guts for straying into wood.
Well, trespassing, yes. They have gamekeepers, much as you human lords have.
Where the game?
No,
As he licks his
you
lips
would be the
uncomfortably.
poachers,
Right.
much as a human estate would have.
Right. It's just, the guts thing. I never really... Are they strong enough
What do you mean?
to, hold the whole body? I tried it once with a rabbit. He says, and they were for a rabbit. So I thought maybe he weren't talking nonsense, like wrapped it round back at spine or something, hung up his... It sounded like it'd be traumatic. Why am I asking you this?
Well, I did not grow up in the forest, you will be pleased to hear. I grew up in Null, a civilized city in the south.
All right. What, a city elf?
I am a city elf.
Right. All right. So do you live in the trees in the city?
No, I lived in a house.
Is that possible?
Absolutely.
So if anyone trespasses, do you hang them by their gizzards?
Well, not in my house.
Garden? He says.
No, I would never attack someone who knocked on the door of my house, but a burglar. I mean, you have to admit, if a burglar threatened your family, you would see them what for.
Oh, well. Aye. Aye.
But
Right.
I wouldn't string them up. I would hand them over to the local watch.
My cousin called it gutting them up.
Oh, really?
When I said stringing up, he said, it ain't string, trust me.
Right.
And I was like, well, actually fair. I mean, it's not string, is it?
No, it is not string.
I had a good poke around. They're like little tubes.
What, with the rabbit?
Lots of little tubes. Do you think that's what it's like inside a person? He looks at you as if to say, you know, don't you?
I do not know. But my friend...
You have seen the innards of a human more times than you care to mention. But you can claim you do not know.
My friend, who is a doctor, he would know, I am sure. He has studied anatomy.
Right.
I am quite certain, though, that there are tubes inside us through which food passes. And drink.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, how do you think the food and drink that you swallow gets to your stomach? There must be some kind of tubular device involved.
Oh, I don't know about that. Leave that to gods.
Mm.
It's not for me to worry about, is it? As the gate to the side opens up, and the chap, who may have been sitting there for at least 30 seconds just listening in, opens up and goes, you to come in. As he makes the sign, Ulrich in front of his chest.
I guess I'll do the same. As a hero of Middenheim.
Oh no, he's doing it to ward you.
Oh, I see, right.
As you go past, and he looks at you doing it, and he looks befuddled.
I thought it was like a greeting.
As you go by, he looks at his hands, looks at your hands, and he's trying to figure out what's going on here.
Oh. So he's just being polite.
As the other one says, City elf, eh? That's a thing. Never heard of one of them before.
Well,
I've heard of city halflings and city dwarfs.
Well, now you've heard of a city elf.
I heard once that there was places where there were entire cities of elves, like in the past. So a lot of the towers you see used to have elves in them. I don't think that's true.
No?
No, elves don't live here. We live here. I reckon we made them. Or maybe Ulrich. Says, I reckon it were probably Ulrich. I spoke to a scholar once. He told me it were Ulrich. He said Ulrich made all of them. Every last one. I was like, he must have been a busy fella.
I thought he was always at war. Do you think that's what he did in winter?
You clearly haven't read all the books.
No, I have not.
I mean, he does like a good scrap, but between you and me, he tends to be doing a different sort of fighting most of the time. He's got a lot of kids, does our Ulrich. A lot of kids, you know. Like a blooming goat he is.
Really?
Like a goat, always at it, like a bloody goat. Always get himself into trouble. It's why the wolves, you know, they try not to do that sort of thing. It's why the priests, they're happy not doing that sort of thing. They've learned from Ulrich's mistakes.
Right.
He pretty much fucked up all the gods if you go according to old books. I know, I've been at Tim. I've listened to priests when they come around here and they have a good chat. Ulrich's always doing mistakes.
Right.
My brother, he's a white wolf.
Oh, is he? What is his name?
You'll never guess.
Is it Arthur?
No.
Is it Ulrich?
He changed his name when he became wolf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, I know him as Egg, but at least Eggy. That's what he used to be growing up with me. But no, he's Ulrich now.
Right.
Ulrich. He changed his last name too.
Ulrichson?
Oh, no. Hammerfist.
Right.
He thought it sounded proper, you know. Hammerfist, you know. It started off with, he called himself Fauschfist or something like that, not really understanding how it all worked. But somebody told him that weren't right. Then he called himself Ulrich Fist, and he said, so I pointed out Ulrich Fist sounded stupid. He didn't like that, so he's gone for Hammerfist. Hammerfist. All right, he's Sergeant. He's been through it, all right?
Right.
He says he's been through it.
Well, thank you.
takes you down some steps and into an open clearing. A host of tents, some of which are knocked over, are pinned out here. Some soldiers are gathered around fires, their beards, and one place cut off entirely as half his face has been sheared off and a big bandage across the top of his head. Another one, big, huge, bushy beard that covers over, not bandages, but strips of cloak that are covering large wounds. That soldier over there is missing her leg. That one over there, missing both of her arms, and it's recent. That one looks like he's been half eaten. Part of his skull shown, and he's just got ragged bits of flesh and bite marks. And
these people are alive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
One of them's even pushing a sausage around in a pan that's sizzling. You're led past those who all look up. This is clearly the ones that are capable of moving. But they're not on the walls. They're not part of the standard rotation to defend the wall. These are the ones that are wounded but capable of looking after themselves. You're taken past an infirmary. That's a very different story. They're the ones that are groaning, in one case crying, and in bad shape. Past that, towards a small flag. Blue, the wolf, the castle, Middenheim. And you can hear a conversation on the inside. I can't authorize that, I'm sorry to say. And the other voice saying, yes, I understand, but you're going to have to authorize it because I have been sent by the Duke. So it's going to be authorized, isn't it? You recognize the voice almost instantly. It vacillates between sounding Reiklander to not, and you can't quite place the not. You still haven't properly placed the not, even though he told you. It's a gold wizard. A gold wizard you were told would not be coming up here.
Which one?
How many do you know?
Erwin. What's his name again? I don't know. Spangler.
It's Spangler.
It's Spangler.
It is Spangler.
I'm suspicious. Sus.
Indeed you are.
I wish I'd brought my magic Spangler detection device.
As the soldier just walks straight into the room and goes, Sergeant, here's this elf. It says, the one what came to the door, and Spangler turns round, holding a goblet with wine in it, and goes, oh, I say, so very good to see you. Looks you up and down. You're badly wounded. You're not that badly wounded. You got hurt in the battlefield.
I have been worse. Spangler, it is good to see you. I thought you were unwell.
It says, I am, I suppose. Looks at you. Where's everyone else?
They are all over in the Talabek land. Hochland.
And you're not allowed to go there or anywhere else. Well, it's good to see you at least. Goodbye, Sergeant, he says. You can come with me. And he says, hey, we haven't even given you a right to be here yet. I mean, you should ask. He says, you've been a wizard and all that. He says, scroll case. Signed by the Duke. Do with it what you will. It's not actually signed, it's got a seal, but it's close enough. I was given that by the princess. I'm not entirely sure that the Duke knows I'm here.
Oh, right.
He says, I got attended after you left by the Shallians, and, well, again, at the behest of the princess. Here I am.
Because he couldn't even, his face was destroyed.
Yeah, I'm feeling really rather good.
I didn't think you would ever be able to cast a word of magic again, Spangler.
Something happened. When I came up here, says, when I came up here.
You were not.
Oh, no. I wouldn't be held back. The princess advised me that if I was going to come anyway, then, yeah. But something happened up here. It was like a bloody tower of fire, like a lighthouse. The whole place lit up. And he points off in the direction that you know is Brass Keep. I found myself somewhere else. He says, that was 3 years ago.
Where have you been?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you want to have it? Oh, you've got a drink.
I've got a drink.
Do you just carry it around with you now after your adventures?
No, I got offered it when I was somewhat hysterical. Although, yeah.
Well, I probably have a few hours. Have you seen Lucas?
No. Should I have?
He was separated from us, and he was making his way back here.
Not through the storm, I hope. And I pity him if he was out there in the storm.
He is made of stern stuff.
He'll have to be made of more than stern stuff to survive his way through that.
Well, I will not lose hope.
Over at the side, the man with no arms, all patched up and wrapped round, looks over and says, "Help," he says, "you look pretty. Would you like to feed me?" He says, he says, "No, I'm frightfully sorry." He says, "I'm not in the business of feeding fellows." "No, not you. Yes, of course. I'm a wizard." "Oh, right, fuck." You can hear them saying, "That one's a city elf."
Oh my God, I started it now. It's all go for the pot, right?
Totally.
So shall we go somewhere and have a seat before I have to run home?
Goes over and sits on a large stone.
So the princess sent you?
Originally.
Oh, 3 years ago.
I've been trying to explain myself. And when I arrived here, I was in dreadful pain. Shallian saw me right, and I intended to come up because I heard you were coming here. And most importantly, I know why you're coming here.
Right.
And I figured that you might be able to get some support. But, yeah, things... And he rubs at the runic symbols on his neck. Things have been strange. I think that... how's it been for you?
So, we were in the center of...
Would you like a drink?
Yes, please.
As he pours a big one. Pass over.
Thank you.
But pours himself more.
We were in the center of the keep when they were...
I mean, I hear stories.
It ruptured.
Stories. Going into the forest and coming out years later, or entering into... I mean, Bretonian romances are filled with this sort of thing, but to experience it oneself... I remember when I first went to the college. Feels like a long time ago now. But when I first went to the college, and the apprentices, we tell each other stories, where we came from. And some of the stories sounded impossible. The life I'd led would be a life of, by comparison, calm logic. That's not what I've witnessed. I'm not incredibly convinced I even have witnessed it. But here I am. I'm healed. There's a scar on me. Everything that I thought had happened appears could have possibly happened.
Well, there was a tear.
Boys here had it pretty bad. Apparently they were up against beastmen. As far as they're concerned, it's only been like a day.
Yes, that's right. It's the same for us.
Well. There you go. I swear, 3 years.
Well, what have you been doing?
Yeah. Things.
Are you all right?
I don't know. I think I need to go back to the college. The college, not the guild. I don't know if anything that I've experienced is real, whether it was a vision, because the date makes no sense to me.
But does it matter?
Well, yes.
You experienced it.
Well,
does it have implications for...
Well, if any of it's
the
true,
future?
then yes.
Right.
Which is why I have to go to the college. Aye. As far as I'm concerned, the college has been destroyed.
Oh, so you haven't spent 3 years in some kind of hidden realm in the woods. You've lived 3 years.
At least.
And you've come back to the day you left. You've seen the future?
I saw something. I don't know what it is.
A future.
Whatever it is that I saw, if I can do anything to stop it, I will. I was attempting to secure myself a steed. Actually, a steed. I intend to go back to Middenheim, tell the guild, and then immediately head south to Altdorf. No college.
But how is Altdorf besieged?
Is there any point in discussing it at length? It hasn't happened. It's not real.
Right.
It isn't real. What's real is where I am now physically. This is real.
This is real.
And anything that I do will immediately change anything that could have been. I don't want anything that I saw that could have been to be real. So there's no point.
The fewer people that know of it, the better.
Well, whatever brings it about.
Yes.
But if any of it is even based in any potential reality, I need to go to the Celestial College. They'd understand. Maybe, I need to organize my mind. Speak to the Guildmaster. This is not his area of strength, but he'll understand it better, and he'll know someone who'll understand it. Then go and speak to the colleges. Maybe he'll give me a letter of introduction to someone down in the Celestial College in Altdorf. Because this is far beyond my capability or understanding or remit. I swear I saw. It wasn't just the Gold College.
Well, what I can tell you is this. There was a tear between here and the Aether in Brass Keep.
So I saw a possibility, you think? A fragment of what could be? Well, I'd best be off swiftly. It started in Altdorf. I wasn't there at the start. I made my way down to Altdorf. Almost 3 months afterwards. But perhaps I can do something about it. No, it's not real. Do you have any counsel on this? You're kind of known for their eldritch ways.
There are many possible futures, and there are many ways to see them. And when there is a tear like that tear, I think that you could perhaps see this lore magic potentials.
Do you have lore magic test? Why not?
Not very good at this, but that's one of the best rolls I can get.
What did you get?
4 successes.
4 successes is better than none.
Yeah.
It's
1 success.
1 success, yeah, quite, because it's an advanced test. As he goes, potential. Well, then I best do what I can to ensure that the potential energy that is held therein does not get free.
I told you this before. We did tell him that we couldn't be scryed, right? I told you this before, but there are people like me who walk the path of shadows. They find it harder to see us. We are hidden. But there are also others of my kind who do a different dance. It is called the Dance of Loic. And I do not understand it, but I will tell you what I have heard of it, as a child might have heard a story from a parent, and do with it what you will. The Dance of Loic says that if you know a future is going to happen, then the Dance of Loic is making it happen.
What? Stop. Why would I want to make it happen?
Making it happen in a way that is not what it seems.
I don't understand.
So, if you saw a future tomorrow that you would, in 3 years' time, if you had seen a future and you had said to me, Alamennowyth, I saw a future in which I fell down the steps in Middenheim and I was crushed. The dance of LAWhammer would be me doing everything in my power between then and now to hone my skills as an illusionist. So I could be there on that day and time to make you think you fell down the steps and were crushed. And then afterwards I picked you up and said, wasn't that a funny joke, Spangler?
That sounds dangerous. What if you get it wrong? I think that's beyond me. I think I'd just rather stop. Anything that I saw. Anything I witnessed. Yeah.
The dance of LAWhammer. The thing about it is that the LAWhammer is hidden.
I don't care.
All right.
He says, it is beyond me, and I think it would be better if I just did what I know is right. What am I going to do?
I do know it has been 3 years for you. I know that in Middenheim, when we were in grave danger and serious trouble, inexperienced and confused, you led us down a path that saved the elect account. Without you, he would not have been saved. We got these claws, but you were the man who enabled it. You were the true hero of Middenheim. I know that in my heart.
You're too kind.
And I know it in my... No, I'm not kind. I tell the truth. And do you know how you got us there?
Investigation.
Clear, unemotional, rational logic that came entirely from within your mind and your training. Not the blues.
A slight
from
smile
you.
hits his face. That is something similar to what my master would have once said. Rubs again at his neck. He just nods. Those are wise words. It's funny. For me, it's 3 years. For you, it's a week, 2 weeks?
A day.
Oh, no, I travelled all the way up.
Oh,
last
yeah,
week,
yeah,
remember?
since we saw him.
Yeah.
A few weeks, yes.
Nods. Would have thought.
It is not odd for an elf, Spangler.
What, this?
Whenever we meet humans, it has been longer than we think it was.
Ah. Do I look older?
No.
You have no idea.
You look...
He looks better. Arguably.
You
Weller.
look well. Much more well than when I
Healthy.
last saw you. Healthy. Handsome. As always.
You do me too many kindnesses. Back. Right. Well, that being the case, tomorrow morning I will head to yes, I told you, the princess.
Yeah.
She bid me give you a message. Wait a minute. Or do I even still have it? He says, I'm not sure I still have it. No, I'll have it in my bag. Wait here. And he scurries off.
I'm not a counselor. I don't know how to fix this thing.
And he comes back with about 4 leather bags sitting over his shoulders. No, soldiers, because apparently I can't see those 2 words today. It's like I'm 10 and I can't speak English. Hanging over himself as he opens up one, opens up another, and then pulls out one that's torn and tattered and blue and plops it down, opens it up, sticks his hand in and goes, yep, this is it. And then passes you over a letter sealed with blue wax, stamped with the heraldry of the Baron of Middenheim.
You know, I'm panicking. I'm like, has it been 3 years? Like, has it only been 2 weeks for us? Has it been 3 years out there?
Yeah, who knows?
Spangler, what if it has only been 2 weeks in here? And
That's what I've been saying to the soldiers for the last 3 hours. I've just given up. I'm just going to say they're right. It's easier. Now, you're confirmed that they're right. So I think they're probably,
Good.
given the numbers. Sorry, I didn't mean to snap. It's been a testing. It's been testing. But there's an opportunity, as you say, cold, calm, be logical, calm, logical. Gods, I wish I paid more attention when I was speaking to the light wizards. I'm not very good at being calm, cold, emotionless.
Rational.
Rational, I can do that.
You can be emotional. Just be rational.
Do you think it's all right to be terrified?
Yes.
Good.
It is perfectly natural to be terrified.
Yeah, that's...
Right, I'm opening it.
The parchment unfolds. And... As it does so, and you unroll it, it's carrying along its edges a host of stains. Now, Katerina is particularly...
Fastidious.
Yeah, fastidious. She likes everything to be just so, and it's all about impression with her. She puts on a face all the time. She is constantly crafting how she is perceived by other people. Her entire time at court is all about trying to appear as unthreatening to the many very self-important men that are the gathered nobles, all of whom like to think they're the ones in control. She plays a rather dim girl at court, or at least played. This is different. This parchment, whilst internally is just as neat as you'd expect, externally is not. It appears, to sum it up with a single word, weathered.
Well, he says it's been 3 years, so I presume it's been in and out of his bag.
Yeah, very well may have been. If you wish to query or ask.
Has this been in your bag for 3 years?
He
It
says,
seems weathered on the outside.
Huh. I mean, yes, actually it has. Maybe it wasn't a dream. Fuck. God's still alive. What if it wasn't a dream? I mean, what if it has been 3 years?
Well, you'll find out when you get
I
back
feel
to
sick.
Middenheim.
He says as he sits down, I feel sick. I feel sick. But they're quite clear that it's only been a day.
Yes.
5 days since I left Middenheim.
Look, it is most likely that when you came up here, the storm of magic, the tear into the aether, had an effect on you. A combination of the blue wind,
I am a
your
wizard.
wind. You're a wizard. Elric sees...
No, you don't know
Oh,
that.
I don't know that yet. Elric is not well since he retired.
No, you don't know that yet either.
I thought you said he was having nightmares.
No, he's having
Yume
nightmares,
was
but-
looking...
Yeah, nightmares.
Yeah, you know,
yes.
like he's
Yeah.
affected.
So
by
if you
it.
wish to go by that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
having nightmares.
Elric is badly affected by the storm. I could feel it. So it is likely you have seen a possibility of the future to come.
Like I was a blue. But it seems so vivid. I was there. I saw people die. So many people. Friends. Enemies. I'll admit, though, I do have a hand. I lost it. I had a gold one. And now I don't. I'm only realizing this now. Oh. Rational. That's not rational. It can't be real then, surely.
Absolutely.
But how can your parchment be weathered? How can I...
Magic has...
I'm a wizard! He says, I know this!
Then why are you
In
asking?
the background you hear, the crazy wizard's off again. Bloody crazy wizard started off again. He's still got his bloody hand. Look at me.
You know as well as
Gallows
I do.
humour as laughter spreads over there. Anyway, he says, that was for you.
Right, I'm going to read it.
It is indeed a letter from the Princess of Middenheim, and it is one that is full of flowery language and very little real depth, as you would expect. It does suggest that she's very interested in her needlework, and the juxtaposition of her needlework with her supposed new duties as a baron, which she finds frightfully exciting and interesting, particularly when all the other titled folk of Middenheim look at her with renewed respect. The entire letter, the entire missive, is nonsense. It's exactly what someone would expect the princess to write. It's a matter of, can you pick out what she's actually saying? And the answer to that is, how's your lower codes?
I have it. I have it at 65 and I rolled 60, but it's advanced.
Yeah, so
one success.
And you sit there and you pick at it. Poke, poke. There's going to be some simple code in this. Look at the first letters of the paragraphs. Oh, no, it's not that simple. Katerina and her big brain. What's she done? It takes some time. Eventually, Spangler figures it out.
I was going to say, can it just ask Spangler?
He can tell that you're puzzling over something, and he is, if anything, curious about a puzzle. And between the two of you, over the course of about an hour and 15 minutes, you pull apart the entirety of the letter until you expose what you believe is the secret intent. And it is pretty simple. And it's father plans war. That's it. Father plans war. It's like you didn't know this already.
I know, right?
It says, not exactly a decent message if it's me. I knew this when I left. He was, well, actually, no, that's not quite true. He publicly said that everything was going to be put on the slow burn, I suppose. But
when did you leave?
6 days ago.
6 days ago. And you know, why would she say this? I know this.
Maybe we got it wrong. He says, it's very possible. I mean, I'm tired. And I'm not exactly good with codes. It's just a puzzle, really, isn't it?
Let's have another go.
It's a word puzzle. I don't think there's anything else I can find. There's no other go to have. We pored over it. There's no point wasting time.
She doesn't call him father very often.
And perhaps it's not him she's referring to.
She calls him papa and daddy.
Code within a code?
So I would say, who is father?
Well, I don't know. I can't say. Other than the time she approached me and she was all frightful business, if I'm being honest. I can't say I know her. Who's father?
They don't call our Ulrich father, do they?
No, well, I mean, some do, I suppose. I mean, it's not his title, but he's also he's also the high priest of Middenheim. You can make him high father, I suppose, possibly.
I mean, but that's not news, is it? An Ulrican planning war?
Well, no, not really. It depends who he's planning war with. And what does it matter for what you're here for? Maybe it's just nothing more than a piece of impetus to provide you with he's intending to. But you knew this already. I knew this already.
I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah. I don't really quite understand, if I'm honest. No, I can't say that I understand at all. Sorry, there's little else I can provide you with that. It says, rumbles around inside his satchel, and pulls out a small bag, tosses it over. Coins.
Oh, thank you.
Says, well, in my place, I tend to always have a backup of something. And she said you might need help, and who knows where you'll be going. There you go.
Well, thank you.
At the very least, you'll be able to get past some guards with it. He says, I need another drink. As he pops his bottle and pours, 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 until there's not anything but the tiniest of drips.
I mean, the one thing I can say is the future is not set. Futures don't have to happen, right? Like, that's the whole point of my life.
Nothing is set until it's happened, and even then, once it's passed, it's simply history and can be rewritten. You know that there are entities that can do that.
Look, Spangler, I can give you one piece of, I hope, comfort, and that is this, that I know as sure as my bones that futures are not set until they happen. And once they have happened, there are entities that can rewrite them, because then they're just the past.
For an elf, you're quite short.
Yes, I am. I'm a city elf.
No, I was just thinking of that. Given your party, I mean, you're not the tallest of your party. You should take advantage of that.
What do you mean?
I mean, she dresses you human. They'd never recognize you for what you are, particularly when you're with them. Get yourself some, sturdy-looking robes, a cloak, cover your head. No one would recognize you for what you are.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
You're a very distinctive party. So anything you can do to try and hide that is surely to your benefit. Particularly at a range. I mean, obviously, you move with a certain fluidity that is not, it's like the difference between a cat and a dog. We're the dogs, you're the cats, so to speak. They just move differently, but it's not too difficult to copy, I suppose.
That is true.
It's just an act like anything else, isn't it? That's what you should do. That's what I think you should do. Let's start tearing this apart for what it is. I need to go to the south, and I don't want anyone to know who I am. And you need to carry on with whatever you're doing, and you really don't want anyone to know who you are. Trust me. Just in case it was the future.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, should you appear human, I imagine that would certainly put some people off.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Noted.
In fact, I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. Let's start being proactive. He says, you stay here.
Right.
And he hops on down.
He's getting it. He's getting the dance.
And he goes over to the soldiers and he starts chatting away with them. Now, a little bit of laughter spreads out from where he is as you see him move about. He starts picking up individual pieces from each, passing over coins for each of them as he goes.
I love Spangler so much.
Until he comes back with like a pile of clothing. Different types, some of which he holds up, discards some. One of the benefits here is that the average man of Middenland is big.
Oh, yeah. This didn't work in Null.
No.
I was like, can I try on the human clothes?
As he holds up a cloak.
Oh, and I was always trying to dress as a woman. That was my mistake.
And holds up another cloak, and he's like, puts that one down, pair of trews. And he's like, right, don't even bother changing. Just put it straight over what you've got. You're so thin.
All right.
He says, use the clothes you already have as a bit of bulk. He says, put this put this cloak under and this bigger cloak on top. Depends how you're going to... It's cold anyway. I mean, the heat will be good. Until he effectively redresses you and looks at you. Yep, this is good. Now put your hood up. Puts it over. Now you tie your hair back. Tuck it right down into the back of your cloak.
All right. Tuck hair in.
Puts it over. Much better.
So can I try walking?
Yeah, do that in a moment. Here. He takes off his bag. Puts that on you. No, it takes off another bag. Puts that on you. Much better. Now you just look like you're a relatively well-to-do man of Middenheim. Looks at you, nods. But that's better. In the dark, as he steps back, in the dark, no one would know. That bow, though, that sword you've got wrapped up. Sword's good, bow's not. Bow's identifying, you need to get rid of it.
Right.
Lots of people in the north have got large weapons. But not that bow. I'd sell it.
Right.
It's to identify.
Will you take it?
Take it. I've got no use for a bow. What do I take it for?
To Middenheim. Give it to Katerina.
I doubt I'll get back into the palace.
Right.
It's not been 3 years, has it? None of that's happened yet. Or isn't going to happen. Actually, she sent me here, didn't she? Perhaps she'd want to receive word. Write a letter. Write a letter.
I will.
Write a. I'll go speak to the sergeant. You wait here. As he pulls out a small bag, starts counting coins. Goes over. He comes back about half an hour later with an entire writing kit that he's purchased that used to be owned by the now dead captain.
He was fucked, that captain. He was like gone mad.
Well, he's gone now. As he pulls it out and says, write her a letter. Nothing too clever. But something that says on the front for the princess, the Baron's eyes only, or something like that.
All right.
And make sure it's possibly signed by yourself since you're a known entity. Yes, perfect. Excellent. You have to take the gloves off that you've been given. The gloves don't fit. Your fingers are almost a full digit longer than the gloves they've given you. The other ones, though, which are basically fur mittens, if your hands curl up inside, they fit well. And it does make your hands look like they've got human proportions. Your fingers, by comparison, say my hand is the classic hand. Your fingers are all up to about there by comparison with the same hand size. But it's also a longer hand. Your entire body shape is different to a human's. But once it's all covered, I mean, this is basic Path of Shadow stuff. You know this. It's just, you've never actually hidden like this before.
Not as a human.
Yeah.
If it was hidden as a different elf. I mean,
ever. It seems like such an obvious thing to do.
I do have Master of Disguise too. So.
Master of Disguise with 1,000 tricks to play. A letter written.
Just commiserate her on her needlework and shit.
Yeah, quite.
And say, I'll be out for longer.
Respond to the whole thing and say,
and just be
we are continuing on with our mission.
Yeah, basically.
Basically is what you're here to say. As he somewhat impatiently hovers until the end of it's all done. And do you have any wax? He says, there'll be something in the writing kit here. As he looks through.
I just don't think Alamennowyth can bring herself to sell her bow that her wife gave her as a wedding gift. Like, no.
Well, I think that's fair.
Like,
I mean, you couldn't even remember her name earlier. So,
but my bow, it's such a good bow.
It is a good bow.
And I can, shoot from a distance.
Yes, you can.
Which is my key trait. I really will need another bow.
No, you won't.
Right.
Just...
No?
You don't have a bow, and what I know can't happen. Can't.
Right. So I'm never touching a bow again is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So you're getting it.
Yeah, I think that sounds perfect. That means I feel so much better. Yeah. You're going back tonight? I'm not allowed to. I don't want to anyway. I want to go back down. A bag. It's an old one. Watch out for it.
Right. Is it got a hole?
Says, no, toss coins in.
Oh, right.
It feels like nothing's landed in it. It's an old college bag. It's an old guild bag, actually. I've got 3 of them.
Oh, thank you. Is it magic?
Yeah, it's Gold College. We've taken over those tricks, but that one, between you and me, they're illegal. It's why I'm carrying most of them. I found 3 of them myself. They're marvellous. They allow you to carry almost anything. It just makes everything lighter. The old guild was filled with them. They weren't allowed to use
it.
it.
My bow. No,
It doesn't make things smaller.
It's lighter.
It's not so much it even makes them lighter. You just don't notice that they're heavy. You've got to be careful. They can tire you out if you're not being careful.
Oh.
It's why they got banned, because they don't do quite what everyone thought they did.
Right.
But it did mean that there was quite a few hulking old wizards back in the day, because they've been carrying around a lot more weight than they thought they were. And we had a visit from the Gold College, the Jade College up here, and they were the ones that advised the guildmasters to not allow any of the wizards to have them anymore. And because I was an outsider, I just, took them. But given their illegal peps, it would be wise if you took that one. I mean,
I will take it gladly.
You're an elf. A human. Big human. Fine.
A big human.
Do you have a personal message for the princess? As he necks his drink. Glug, 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 as you're thinking. And pours.
No, you can tell that Alamennowyth said everything she needed to say in the letter.
As he says, "Well, pass on my I'm not sure what to pass on. My goodwill, I suppose.
Regards.
Regards, perfect. And actually, no, there is one thing I might suggest.
What is that?
No. Let's just leave it at that. Keep your eyes on Gerhard.
Right.
Keep your eyes on him. It's just a dream, and now it can't come true, he says as he picks up your bow. I'll take this and I shall give it to the princess for safekeeping.
Yes. Lock it in the vault.
Yeah. Good. Right, well, I best retire for the evening. If you're leaving, good. I feel like I should say something. Raw.
I can already see that you are doing what you do best. Just keep on doing it.
Huzzah, he says, nods once. I'm going to go see if I can keep their spirits up. They have a somewhat morbid sense of humour. The one who lost his arms. It's almost entirely healed over, and it's only been a day. Shouldn't be up. He doesn't even believe it's real. Because it's only been a day.
Right.
He should be in the infirmary. I don't think I'm ever coming back to Brass Keep. Ever. This place is horrific.
It is true.
Good day.
Good luck, Spangler.
And off goes Alamennowyth, who, at a distance, does indeed look completely different in terms of her silhouette.
My bow! My bow!
Her bow, her quiver, her arrows. At least she no longer has to worry about getting elf arrows, though.
Alavendrill's arrows. He lent them to me.
Quite. As she makes her way back over to the gate that leads back towards the Hawkland quarter.
I'm going to have to learn how to
around
use
Brass Keep.
a Hawkland long rifle.
Dressed as a Middenlander.
Exactly.
Perfect. It's a different chap at the gate who's on the outside, and you have to bang on the door to be let out. As he...
Hang on, I just need to run back to Spangler and ask him something. Because she's got a crossbow pistol. Is that okay?
What?
Back to Spangler. Crossbow pistol.
As he looks up from the camp where the two others are sitting, one with no arms, another one with a big heavy bandage across the side of his face, another one across his shoulder. And he says, pardon?
That's all right.
Sure.
Great.
He watches you tear off. Slower! You need to thud your feet down more.
Right.
And you feel like you're thundering your way.
Really slowly.
You just need to walk like Leopold.
He's blind. He doesn't walk like a normal human.
Okay, you
Like
just need
Birdie.
to walk like Birdie. Oh yeah, she's got quite the
She
gait.
walks like a warrior. That's okay. I can work with
Yeah,
that.
you can work with that. You just need to study Birdie. Make your way back to the gate. Knock on the door. The other side creaks open. Takes a moment to realise that you're not just some random person, but the elf that passed through earlier that he'd been told about. And he says, hello. He says, you're making your way out?
Yes.
He says, right, cough up. He says, you could at least wait till she's gone.
I thought it was like a toll. She was trying to get her money out and give it to her.
Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen.
Right, off you go. Another one goes, you're just going off into night.
Yes.
Off into night.
Yes, the road is quiet.
Another one says, she's just going off into night. I know, but she's just going off into night. They've closed off it to the side. You'll never get back in. You'll never get back in, says the other one.
Well, that is maybe. I am off. Goodbye.
I bet you 3 silver shillings we never see her again. Another one says, oh, you bet's on. As you stomp off into the darkness.
Stealthily.
Do we drop our human facade as we move into the dark of the night? Or do we continue our stomp, 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 stomp? You're definitely a human as you march your way through.
I'll be more stealthy as I walk into the night. Oh, but what would Joros say? If you've got an act, then you're supposed to do it all the time.
Yeah, that's
so
exactly
fine, I'll
what
take
Joros
the
would say.
human act up.
Mm.
Oh, this is the worst.
It's interesting. If you are a toddler to an elf, then you are currently a toddler to yourself in terms of the overall stompiness, the clumsiness of your climbing. As you push yourself over a rock with a, and you even make the grunt, as you pull yourself up. Oh yeah. Proper humaning. As you pull your leg up with a, and push yourself up to stand on top of the rock like an idiot before making your way down the other side. You don't glide over it. You don't peek, spy. Oh no, you just go over the top and whoof down the other side. Landing heavily down the other side of the path.
This is the worst.
It's good practice. Good practice. You don't have much practice at stomping like a human after all. Not anything that you ever did with Joros back in the day.
No.
Joros was all about wearing different elven faces,
Yeah.
which was very useful when you eventually moved to the Lorelorn in the north later on. But it was all about elven faces and using an elven face within human society. This is completely different. And you kind of feel like you're doing it wrong. You must be, because for all you like to make a joke of how heavy they can be,
Surely not this heavy.
you must be overdoing it. You must be. And it's not until you've walked around about 3/4 of a mile that you realise that you've not done something that humans pretty much always do.
Put on a light.
No. I mean, that's an obvious one. But no, some humans walk in the dark.
Yeah, it's true. Some
They do?
Some humans do that.
I mean,
The moon's out.
The moon's out.
Stars.
Yeah, our
Night
ranger
vision.
type. Yeah, quite.
Night vision.
Our ranger type will be out, not wanting to ruin their night vision.
Exactly.
Yeah, quite. Now, they might not be able to see as far as you.
But no one knows that.
You can literally see the other camp all the way over there.
Where's Spangler?
You can see right over to the other side where the Ostlanders are camped out. Yeah, you can see really quite clearly. They could not. But it's thinking about how many things you have dislodged. How many stones you've pushed aside and left in different places. All of your training says not to do that, and your natural instinct is not to. And even as you're stomping along, you're still stomping carefully. And looking back on your own tracks, you can't help but go, I've not humaned it very well. But perhaps you're just a skilled human.
Yeah, some humans are hard to track.
Yeah. As she starts self-justifying her choices. But she's really deep in character now. She's overthinking everything. Ooh, and she even kicks a stone. She's knocked a stone aside. Now she's like a human. This is her measure of what it is to be a human. Kicking a stone aside. Well done, Alamennowyth.
Thank you.
As she makes her way down into the frozen pit, past the cave, back up on the other side, past some cliffs, to eventually see before her a figure, approximately 300 paces away, making its way along the path on the other side. And this figure isn't human. You can tell because they are gliding that elven glide that you were doing. Ha! They'll never know you are an elf.
Yeah,
ever.
they'll never know.
As they pad, make their way along, and they're skirting along the edge of the path silently, clearly thinking themselves invisible to the human eyes that lay before them. The dark silhouette that you present, the thick, broad shoulder, the heavy cloak, the fur across it. The stench of humanity lies ahead. And it silently makes its way across. But because you have elven eyes, it's a little bit like looking at a child who thinks they're hiding. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
They think they're being so clever.
You're behind a pillar.
But
you can see their arm.
But it's almost daylight to you. You can literally see them making their way over. Now, if it was dark, wouldn't be able to see a thing. And to another human, that would be invisible. But not human.
I'll just, keep an eye on them.
Do you stop, continue on? Do you not want to give away that you have spotted him? Or do you, I'm a human.
Well, you don't often see another.
Kick a stone?
Yeah, kick a stone.
What are you doing?
Is there someone out there? No.
Yeah, they're making no noise.
Oh.
Literally invisible.
Yeah, that's fair.
You would give away that you had preternatural senses.
No, I'm just going to ignore them. I'm being a human. I'm coming home. Humaning home. In character. Obviously, I'm looking at them side-eyed to make sure they don't whip out a dagger and throw it at me, or take out a bow and take a pot shot.
It skips across the crags on the opposite side of a dip and then hops over onto the same side where you are and moves up to effectively move around you, and then stops just below the peak, giving away no silhouette.
So elf.
So elf.
Much elf. So stealth.
Where it hides in the shadows. But again, it's worth noting that these are shadows to humans. To humans, they're pitch black. But to you, it's nothing more than a shadow. It's the normal shadow that would be cast by, say, a tree. Does that mean you can't see someone that's in a tree shadow? Of course it bloody doesn't. You can see quite clearly into it should you look in that direction, but your hood is up. It's now beyond what you can see. You just know they're up there. Fortunately, the turning of the path itself sort of brings you into line with it. And you can see the elf up there as clear as...
Is it the elf from the cap?
Day. It is not. This is, by very definition, an Aeonir. Wearing green. Long flowing robes that drift off to leaves at the bottom. A long, thin, pale face. Perception test to see what you pick up.
Not very much. One success.
Obviously, the heavy hood you're wearing is like, curtailing your senses. This is site-based. Do you have anything that adds an extra?
I've already added it.
Oh, wow. One success with your bonus.
Yeah.
Love it. As you make your way down with a heavy crump, crump, crump. And you can pick out that this is clearly somebody who is Aeonir, has their hair hanging over a part of their face on one side, and is hiding the shadows up ahead, dressed mostly in green, which stands out starkly against the almost monochrome background that you have here, with the snow and the rock and the occasional bits of, well, there's not much life up here, truth be told. So, yeah, it's mostly monochrome and the patches of earth. As it stays up as you are slowly passing beneath its feet. Are you going to do anything or just walk on by? Walk on by.
I was walking on by on account of, he could be one of my sister's spies. Come to take me home.
Yeah,
And we
absolutely
don't want to go home.
Okay, do yourself an acting roll. Not often we do performance acting rolls, eh?
Oh. Spend a fortune.
Not so good then, huh?
Just rolling so rubbish. It's been so many. 66. That's bad.
Fumbled then.
Yeah.
Unless
I've got any advantage.
No. Would you like to reroll it by taking corruption? We are, after all, in a very corrupt
I really don't
environment.
want to take a corruption point, thanks.
No, that seems fair. You fumble.
Yeah.
And it's a double whammy of fumble. As she's crump, 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 making her way down with a slightly exaggerated swagger that could only be described in her head as human.
Yeah.
As she then heavily stands on a stone that goes right through her boot and digs in slightly into the soft part of the right of her right foot. She suppresses the squeak, at least. What she doesn't suppress is her natural reactions to it, which is to immediately expect it's something that has attacked her. And she skips to the side, skids to a halt beside it, and then goes, with the sudden awareness that you have moved in a way that no human would normally move. It would be a little bit like if, let's make it as stark as it is in terms of the alien nature of how this movement appears. It would be a little bit like if a bird, with its flappy wings and its slightly gangling walk, was going away. And the thing that everyone expects a bird to do is be a little bit peck, 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 or alternatively take flight, as they either dinosaur forward or take to the air. And instead, this bird twists round and jumps in the air like a cat to try and grab something and then lands on all fours with its wings.
Oh, no.
Not a bird-like reaction to getting a startle. And somewhat similarly, you have elfed your way out of this particular startling stand.
So close to a crit.
Stamp so close. Down onto a stone. As your back twists in a way that humans don't, shifts in a way that humans don't, drops in a way that humans don't, and then either almost certainly pulls itself right back up again.
Pretends to be human. Yeah.
100% a human.
Stomp.
You're going to totally pull it off. I'm just going to keep on walking by. Maybe they were looking the other direction at the time.
The other direction at that one moment.
Let's find out. Maybe is a very heavy word. It carries a lot of potential weight as a call comes from above. Now, if you were human, you would have assumed that it was some sort of bird, but it isn't, because it moves up into the higher pitches beyond human hearing. It's a mixture of what sounds like birdsong and Eltharine. And a type of Eltharine she has heard before, back in the Laurelland Forest. Call signs between those who watch the glades. Ghost Rider, you're pretty convinced. Which means very likely also in the Path of Shadows. The ghosts of the wood.
How embarrassing.
The ones who string humans up by their innards and hang them from trees as warning. The ones who keep separate from the spirits because to get too close to them is dangerous. But the ones who also, when they do draw close to the spirits, open up the wheeled way, allowing people to pass through the forest quickly. Time, contrary to her conversations that she had with poor old Spangler, isn't as simple as humanity likes to often perceive it. But rarely does so much of it pass in such a short period of time, in a fashion like he experienced.
Yeah.
Often it passes, but you never come back.
Yeah.
Because you've now experienced something and you're now in the future. Time has passed. You pass through the magical parts of the wood where the spirits lie, and things can go different. Time can run differently. There is so much death wrapped up in much of what the forest offers. And the shyish that's wrapped around it causes time itself to dislocate. A method that everybody else understands at least. And the Azir. Because the elves themselves, as far as they're concerned, they're going to survive, such as their arrogance. At the core hope of it is that blue wind. Their self-belief that tomorrow will be a brighter day. Elves. They just can't help themselves. They always think they're going to come out the other side smelling of roses. If they would elves. Maybe smelling of something else if they're not. There's a lot of Azir in the forest, crackling away along the paths of life. It's a Ghost Rider, you're pretty convinced. But mostly because of how it tried to communicate, as it sends off a message that you understand.
Oh, I do.
Because you have been taught the ways of the Path of Shadow. And they are the same as the Ghost Riders. And it's a very simple message. Who goes? But you could ignore it, not understand it. After all, you're just a stompy human, elf. You're just a stompy human, and you might not understand this unexpected bird sound in the middle of a dead area where there are no birds. But you might not understand it. You don't need to respond. But it has, to a degree, given away what it is. And it is, religiously speaking, someone in at least the same area as yourself.
Religiously speaking, one is perfectly entitled when one meets another walker of the Path of Shadows to reply, someone walking the Path of Shadows, leave me alone. So that's how I'll reply. One who walks in Ladriel's shadow.
There's a pause as you stomp another couple of days. And then another call, this time low, very low. So clearly a male elf. There's not a great deal of sexual dimorphism between men and women as far as the elves are concerned. But there is some. Women, they're obviously biologically different to the men. And men sometimes have deeper voices. Often can have deeper voices according to some of the gifts. And his voice is deep. It might be a woman, but you would be surprised with a voice so deep as it drops down very low with a high-pitched over, which is where the Eltharine is hiding. As it lets out a low, throaty call, almost like throat singing. And at the very top, this like trill of, I am lost and I need to be found.
Oh, well.
It is, as far as Ladriel is concerned, one of the greatest calls for aid. Ladriel finds that which is lost.
I shall call back.
And to not respond to a call is as close to a sin as you can get.
It's not just as close to a sin. It's like you better watch those demons. I'll call back.
Because Ladriel always.
I'll call back.
Nothing is so lost it cannot be found.
And sort of
the correct code response.
Yeah.
As it hops down the steps and then just glides in front of you with a stop its hair. It's definitely a male elf. And he looks young. And looks at you. And looks at you. And looks inside. And then drops down as he sees your face.
Oh, no.
Prostrates himself before you and says, in Eltharine, most obviously, I did not realize that you would be here, my queen. My heart had hoped for some surcease to this pain. He says, and looks up at you with tears in his eyes streaming down his cheeks.
I'll go down, like I'll kneel. Not kneel, but like you would when you're speaking to a kid. And be like,
I am not your queen today, just one who walks the path of shadows like you.
Where are we?
We are in Middenland.
What is Middenland?
It is far from home.
Swallows. How far?
Let me that far.
It's Middenland's not that far, and you're not in Middenland, you're in Middenheim.
Middenheim.
Yeah, quite different. Middenland is to the south.
Mm-hmm.
The Grand Duchy of Middenheim is almost bordering, not quite, there's a good bit of land, but with Lorelor. There's a few hundred miles, but it's the forest. As far as the elves are concerned, you just go out of Middenheim, hit the forest, and you're almost home already. Particularly if you enter the Wieldway, you are home. And if he can enter the Wieldway, all he needs to probably do is head down to a forest, make the correct sacrifices, and he will be in there also.
Yes.
It is not that far if you can enter the Wieldway. Can you?
Spirits are angry. They took my band. All of them. They were whipped up to a frenzy. Their anger. My queen, you must save me. And he drops down one more time. And then looks up.
What is your name?
Looks round as if there might be someone anywhere. And then says, my name is Talon.
Talon.
Today. He says, you are far from home, my queen. Why?
Well, just as you are Talon today I am simply...
And then, almost as if he suddenly realizes, Are you my queen or not?
I walk on the path of shadows.
He scratches at his
I
head.
care for you as your queen would.
Looks around.
You are lost. Nothing is so lost it cannot be found.
I do not understand where I am or what has happened.
There was
They took my entire band. All of them. He takes out a handful of crystals. And you can almost hear voices whispering on the wind, lifting up from the shards and the waystones. Lost souls captured. I have to return them soon. Can you do yourself an intuition check?
Oh, finally. 4 successes.
Yeah, you can feel it. Now that you've been made aware of it, your hackles are raised. Yeah. She who thirsts is thirsting. Chasing. Looking to find a way through. To claim these. almost makes you want to shrink down. He also shrinks down as another tear hits the side of his eye.
Put them away.
I don't understand where I am. I was in the wood.
Magic.
And then the spirits went wild.
The spirits have taken you somewhere you should not be. But fear not, I will help you get home.
What is this Middenheim?
It is leagues.
Miles will do. You don't need to go strangely esoteric.
Hundreds of miles?
Oh, it's hundreds of miles, yes.
It is hundreds of miles from our home. Humans dwell here.
Humans? Is that why you are dressed like that?
Yes, I pass among them.
Oh. I see. You must walk deep within the mists of Ladrihill to attempt such a thing. The smell. How can you stomach it?
Well, because I must.
Can you take me through the forest?
Like, where's the nearest forest?
I mean, you saw some on the way up, but we're talking time. At least maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then you're going to have to wend your way along the road down. You might be better dropping them off with someone like anyone.
Spangler?
Spangler, perhaps?
Well, I was thinking Spangler could take him back to Middenheim, to Alamennowyth. He would know what to do with him.
Very possibly, yeah. Alamennowyth, same path.
Same path. Spangler's probably got a coach, so it'll probably be the quickest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ally. Back the way I came. Come with me.
Who is this ally? He says, following you.
He is a human wizard.
Their witches cannot be trusted. They bring demons. Wherever they go. And his hand slips up to his chest where he has stored them. They cannot be trusted.
I have lived among the humans for many, many years. And I know which can be trusted and which cannot.
None can be trusted. It is as simple as that.
That
is the very commandment of the Queen.
When one walks
Eyes
the path
narrow
of shadows,
as it looks at you.
one must walk among them, as though you are them, and they trust each other. And thus do I. You are young. You have let us learn the ways of the shadow.
I'm not so young. He says, I have walked this path now for 70 years.
Hmm.
He says, I understand it better than anyone else. There have been many who have walked the path before me, but none understand it like I do. I am the Shadow Weaver. You may have heard of me. He says, as he walks beside you, pulling himself up to his full height, which is almost a foot taller than you. As he looks down at you, the Weaver of Shadows. As he walks along. And I do not think that I will sully myself with humans. I can find the forest myself if I must.
He will take you.
And I must!
He will take you to your prince, Alavandrel.
I know of no such prince.
What? Is that not his name in the forest?
Says he looks at you. Never heard of such a prince.
Well, he is.
Who are you? Are you a demon on the road that I have been...
I am not a demon on the road.
A god who has been sent to persecute me. Sent by the Phoenix King, perhaps. He says as he walks along. Yes, that is what you are. An agent of the king.
Has he gone mad? Oh my God, he's not from this time.
So he looks at you.
No, I am not.
And stops. Yes, you are. That is what you are. Looks you up and down. It's a strange garb. And your sack. That cursed sack, says, looking at your little blue bag. As his face turns almost to a sneer. Why would you wear a cursed sack?
I told you, I walk amongst them. I walk the path of shadows. I follow in Ladriel's footsteps.
Who are you to claim such things? Who are you? Joros, it is you, isn't it? He says, it is a joke. You're sent yourself again to test me. Of course. Such a joke. I've seen through you this time, old man. Yes, I have. Looks at you. With your cursed sack. You thought that would put me off, did you? His hands move away from the shards. It did not.
I will take you to
What is
safety.
that blade? And how could I not see it?
You are lost, and I will help you be found.
What is that blade? It laughs at me. I hear it. Looks up at the moon. Looks back down at you. I don't think I understand where I am. Am I still dreaming?
What is your Phoenix King's name?
What do you mean, what is my Phoenix King's name?
What is the name of the king in your time?
My time.
Yes.
What is this that you say to me?
I fear that
What mask are you wearing this day?
You know as well as
You wear the face of my queen, but you are not my queen.
You know as well as I that when the spirits take you, you can be lost for much time.
And just strides off along the path. Such nonsense. Now you sound like you were born in Avalon once more. I was. Skips down. Such talk of the wood. Pulls the cloak around himself. Skips down the path ahead. I shall follow this goat path.
Is it the right path?
Well, that's where going in the direction you were intending to take him to Spangler if you're intending to do that. He says, although...
Maybe I should take him to the elf in the other camp. He's not gonna understand any in here. He was a Azur.
Yeah, 100%. As he skips along, looks down. Why do goats take such unwieldy paths? And drops, hops down in a way that makes you feel very heavy. But you're a human, so it's fine. Yeah. You're allowed to be heavy. Thump, thump, thump. Looks back at you. Such a ridiculous bag. Sack of horror. How can you bear for it to be so close and the stench of it all? Acrid, sweaty. Moves up the other side and then stops. There is death in the air. Can you smell it? Twists round and scrambles off.
Okay.
The cave.
No, do not go that way. There is death there. Come with me.
Looks back and then whispers in a high-pitched Eltharine. Yes, exactly, death. It is my duty. And then hops down and then darts off into the darkness of the cave.
He's still lost, right? I still need to help him. I guess.
Damn it.
I can't just abandon him, right? Sneak into cave.
Are we sneaking?
No, just human sneaking.
Okay, so the difficulty will be 4.
Okay.
You are wearing clothes that are against your good sneakiness.
4 successes.
Nicely done.
Plus 1, 5.
So that's 1 success.
Yeah.
It's better than none.
And 1, and I do have silent step.
Nice, good, love it. As you creep in, desperately trying to stand in your boots in such a fashion that causes them not to creak. Because they want to creak. What's the point of a creaky boot? Why would anyone make a boot that creaks?
Is this going to be my life from now on? Has Spangler doomed me to complete incompetence?
Creak. It's a good excuse for your standard elven incompetence, though, as far as other elves are concerned. Creak. No creaks. That's it. You're standing on it right as you come in after. And he is sunk into the swirling darkness that lies beyond.
In a bad way?
Well, you can't see him. And it's quiet. Is that a bad way?
I'm going to take out my sword.
Do yourself.
A cool trick. Because it's been such a great night already. Yay! 5 successes.
The long, thin blade of Baraku as the runes light up blue, casting light across the inner of this cave. On one side, there is a bear.
Oh, fuck me.
Dead.
Oh.
On its side, its tongue lolling out. One of its eyes half eaten by something. You presume those beetles that are also dead on their backs.
The thing is, I can't take a bear, so the fact that someone has taken that bear is a problem.
The cave, at least in these earlier parts, is filled with old bones. The elf has already passed beyond these, and in the distance, you hear a call. Words of magic.
Let's go.
As they are shouted out. Do yourself a lower magic test.
Yay! 1 success.
1 success.
Well, 4, but 1.
He's calling upon the earth.
Oh.
Directly beneath him. And swirling it up and pulling it in to throw outwards. Huh. Well, that's a thing. As you make your way in, do yourself a perception test.
1 success.
Better than none. As
shit.
you're the best elf. As you dive down deeper into the caverns, and ahead, his face awash with orange energies, is the elf. His hands up and rock crunching up in small pillars beneath each of his fists, and daggers of it flying through the air towards the other side, where there is a thing. No other word for it. It is close to indescribable. There are parts of it that are clearly animal. That long scything limb, the rippling eyes down that side of it, the feathers, the broken torso, multiple hips, faces screaming on that side. In total size, easily the size of a small imperial house, but with long limbs sticking out of it in different directions. Some sort of chaotic spawn down in the depths of the cave. Magical shards of rock are slicing towards it.
I think what I'll do is I'll guard him. So he's dealing with it magically.
So you will run down, blade out.
Essentially guard him from things that he might not catch coming into...
Do yourself weapon basic test. Good old melee.
40, which is a crit, because it's a... Oh no, that's my arrows.
That's a shame. You mean for that thing you no longer have?
The thing I just gave.
Oh no!
I would have been so much better with my bow.
As you come skidding down in front of it, blade held aloft, and a scything blade, shard, bone limb with fur and feather down one side comes swiftly towards the elf. You, blade up, push it aside, and you are presented by another limb coming directly towards you. A face screaming there and also on the side of the limb as it tries to see you and tries to pin you down. Intuition test, please.
A crit! Yay!
Crit.
Yeah. 6 successes.
Oh.
7 if it... 7 if... Yeah, 7 successes.
7 if...
No, it's just 7.
Just 7.
Yeah.
Did you roll again? 'Cause remember to add,
yeah.
and when you get a crit, you get the extra roll. You did.
55!
Wow, you're on fire. Okay, I can't not make this a thing then.
69, so 7...
She had to do well eventually.
12. 18 successes.
Much more like it. Like a true elf. She understands what's going on here. She can see it for what it is. A shard of something else. A remnant of an old, lost creature that is being ridden by a demon.
Oh.
The demon that was summoned by the shards that this elf holds.
Oh.
And it's hungry for them. It isn't, you can tell almost immediately, are even really aware of what's going on. It's just hunger, pure hunger. And it's not going for you, it's not going for the elf, it's going for the shards. That's what it's targeting. That's what it wants. It can feel them, it can sense them, and it's hungry. It's a little bit similar to you having not eaten for, say, 5 days, and then you smell baking bread. Or a particularly good bacon roll. Whatever it is that stimulates you and makes you go, I want to eat that now. That's what it's pursuing. And it's not going to let anything get in the way. And it's going to keep on going for it. And you've obviously gone in the way. But you can see it for what it is. This is a shambling horror that almost certainly will go beyond its physical capabilities now because it no longer is in control of itself, if it ever was. And it will go until it can't anymore, which means that you have 2 options. Kill, run.
It doesn't look like it's going to be able to go very fast.
You're not convinced by that.
Okay.
You're not convinced, but you're not convinced that it won't be able to just come at a horrifying rate. It might move very slowly, sluggishly, incapable of moving itself, but it might move swiftly. He's clearly taken it upon himself that he should do something about this thing. You're not convinced that's at all wise. So, what are you doing? You have managed to push that one aside. The other shots are coming in. What is your plan?
To muster all my queenliness and tell him to get out of here.
You're going for command?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going for command and defending against anything that might get him thrown in his direction. Love it.
I don't even have leadership as a skill.
I do love leadership as an option. And if you don't have it, well, we'll see how it turns out, won't we?
I passed.
Not great. I'm going to guess how many successes?
None.
None.
0, 2.
0. So basically, he needs to fail his I'm far too cool for this test to go out. It's not what I would call a fail. As you tell him to, what, do you say run? Leave? I didn't quite hear what you said.
Basically, she who thirsts, flee.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, as he spins another spell as he twists and the rocks that he's pulled up move up and faces begin to appear within them as the spirits of the earth start pushing upwards and shaping. You're in front of him, though, which means you have to deal with their attempts to get past that. I didn't do frightfully well. I have 5 successes.
Hooray! I have 6.
Ah, sweet.
Because I have advantage, right?
Yes, you currently have advantage. As shot after shot comes in and you bring your blade up, but this is all of it organic. Your blade does not do more than any other sword almost would against this. As you push up to the side, attempting to fend this off as he works spirits into the stone behind you at an incredibly slow rate. It's not slow, but it feels it when this horror is pushing its way on towards you and possibly going to overwhelm. It's now striking hard, which means if you don't dodge this, you'll need a crit to stop it.
Okay.
So your choice is either to dodge and get out of the way of this blow, which is targeting you, not him. Or
I'll
alternatively, you can try and parry it, where a crit will...
I'll dodge.
Okay, good. Ha!
5, 6 successes.
I failed. I rolled 97.
I'm much better
Very
at
amusing.
dodging than parrying.
Partly, as it says, as the entire body of the thing lurches
shall
forward,
also-
and a maw opens up in its middle.
I shall also now
Spine-like teeth pull back.
Can I go into my
An
stance?
entire maw on the inside opens, and in that maw, you can see depth, too much depth, as it goes down deep, and the teeth spread. You dive out of the way of that as that mouth snaps shut. It's now, however, in a position where it can attack, if it wishes, directly towards the elf who is in front of it, who's going to attempt his spell again. It's still not enough. As you do what?
Can I attack it?
If you wish to attack it, yes.
Can I go into my stance though?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Shadow's Coil.
Shadow's Coil, please.
Sounds perfect. As you skip and dance to the side, perfectly attached to your nice dodge.
Distract it.
Okay, so distract rather than attack.
Yeah, because I want to distract it away from him.
Okay, good.
It's opposed athletics cool once per target, and it basically loses its attack, I think.
Let's see how you did.
I got athletics, 2 successes.
2 successes. I have got 0 successes. I passed, but I did badly. As it twists round as you dance, twist to the side. Your sword flicks up, threatens, pulls back, and bits of it grow out in your direction as it attempts to understand what's going on, and other bits grow in the other direction. Is it fully distracted? We'll find out when it does its attack.
Come on, Talon, for today.
Excuse me.
Oh, is that bad?
Give me a moment. I'm just getting the file from my thing. There it is. Okay, nice. As the body swells in front of you, the maw twists round to where you are and opens. And the fleshy passage lies before you, and row after row of spiny teeth await you. It opens, and poof, everybody falls prone. Because that's what happens. Down goes the elf, down goes you, down goes this enormous maw as it rolls onto its back, its maw grappling at the sky. As you go stumbling from your feet, as if the wind has been taken from you, and your feet also, which go flying up. The elf on the other side lets out a yelp, unexpectedly falling to his back, which means that we just fall back to standard initiative order, which means the elf is first. The elf will get back to his feet
because I fell over
he's got to jump up.
You thought it was funny.
Jump up, just cast the spell with total power.
Oh, nice. Hopefully.
Oh, nice. Okay, does 63 wounds plus that, so that's a total of 78 wounds. That's like tickling it. As it slams into the side and opens up an enormous gouge in the side of its amorphous pelt. Body. Fleshy thing. The demon inside, though, roll per test. Oh, it's a beautiful roll, which it passes. Leaving it now to your initiative.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll get up.
Do you have jump up?
No.
Okay, good. That'll teach you move. That means you can't move, but you are effectively base-to-base contact with it, so you can, if you wish,
Can I
also
try
attack.
and stab it in the demon bit?
Yeah, because of course it's got one of those.
Yeah. I've got a magic sword, so.
So I think let's just drop that down and stab it. Okay, go for it.
Come on. 33! Yes! We're on fire tonight! Well, I mean, we weren't earlier. Oh, 46. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. But
7 successes. Nice. As your blade drives into it.
It's not an object.
No, it is not.
33.
Barracool. sinks deep
Obviously, I'll
into
shout
its
that.
flesh. The runes on its side flash. The elf, upon seeing this, very swiftly twists to the side, seeing it, twists back to ensure it doesn't lose its concentration, and then the runes light up as it pierces the hide of the entity, and again the head twists at speed altogether too fast, and then looks back again as it continues with its spells. As the great thing goes up, he ducks underneath it, and down the length of the blade, ice ripples and causes an icy wound to spread. Blue and rimy frost and white cracking spreading out from where it's pierced in. It howls from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mouths, and then the maw howls. Fetid breath spills over you. Cool test, please.
I'm so cool. I'm so cool.
How'd you do?
7 successes.
Okay,
I'm so cool.
Yeah, that'll do, because you won the contested roll. And the fetid breath is horrible, but also smells sweet. Like rotten meat, perhaps. But there is an underlying sweetness that is almost compelling. And it's like the tunnel takes on different meanings. And you kind of just want to climb in to the heart of that fetid horror. Go roll for it. The elf, that is. I don't think the elf's going to fail, given that it's contesting against 100.
Oh.
Which I think means that the elf is now immune to pretty much anything this can do in terms of attempting to persuade it to its side. Bad luck, big creature. Right, so let's see what the... Oh, nice. Oh no, willpower test to avoid that, didn't do. As the elf to the side slams down hard and sings. And as he sings, the spirits join him to either side. And as he does, the cave goes up at his feet and squelches it, smearing across the top of the cavern. You and him to either side of what is now a stone wall. The spirits start bickering. As he opens his vein and bleeds on one side, bleeds on the other, as they and then go down into the earth. Looks at you. What is that blade?
It is mine.
It reeks of Dawi.
Like, not putting it away.
Still looking up at that as blood is
I
dripping
really
down.
want to put it away.
Maybe you should get out of here.
I think we should leave.
He looks up at it. This is a cursed time. That such can live. And walks up from the outside of the cave. You did not give me your name. I believed you were my queen, but you are not.
My name is Alamennowyth.
What is your name? That is my queen's name.
That is my name.
Then keep this charade if you must. It says, you walk your path and I will walk mine. And reaches the top. Nothing can be so lost that it cannot be found. He says he looks either direction. I think I will be found this way. And walks off in the opposite direction to what you were walking before. Back in the same place where he was before.
You do not wish my help?
I do not know what you are. You claim to be my queen, but are not my queen.
Because Time has passed.
So you claim. Perhaps you are the demon that thirsts.
I am not.
You identified it so swiftly. Am I speaking to a demon?
No.
I have spoken to demons before. Do not think I will be so easily convinced by your whispered lies. He says, demons are liars, all of them. Yes, that is probably what you are. A demon.
I am not a demon.
Well, why are you wearing that? Appearing like that? Wearing a cursed sack?
I told you already, I walk the path of shadows, and this is where it has taken me.
To a cursed sack? And a cave?
Yes.
You're infuriating. Hops up the other side, looks down. I do not think you should follow me.
But this is
You are the one that is truly lost.
This is the way I was. Then you should help me. Should you not? If I was truly lost.
Nothing's so lost that it can't be found.
Exactly.
Ah, there you are. And turns around and starts walking off up the hill.
That's the way I was going.
Coincidence and nothing more. Are you following me?
No, this is the way I was going when I met you.
You do not need to sound so petulant. Says, and keeps on walking. What is that?
What?
Points over to the ruins of Brass Keep.
It is an old ruin. The humans call it Brass Keep.
Rolls his eyes. Of course it's an old ruin. But what is it? A keep of brass. It is not made of brass, it is made of stone. These humans, they are idiots. Says, it is sky, air. No, that would be too sensible. It is stone sky, there. They are so foolish. How can you even cope? Who are you? You are teasing me. You are Joros, aren't you?
No.
You know who Joros is?
He is my master. On this path.
Ah, master. Yes, likely story. You think I've not heard that before? Joros says, of the 1,000 mast, which one is this? The 3rd, the 4th? An early mast, certainly, if it's my queen. Yes, that is what it is. An early mask. You are nothing more and nothing less. I give away nothing by saying such things, for you are clearly what you are. You are little better than a demon. He says as he walks on, little better. A curse upon my life, perhaps, like that sack upon you. A curse.
Well, when I knew Joros, he was a curse upon me also.
Stops. Yes, well, you would say that, wouldn't you? Then walks along. No, this is the place that I left because this is where the humans were. I could smell them. And then just sits down. I don't know where I am. Where are the trees?
I will take you to someone who can take you to the trees.
But it's a human.
It doesn't matter.
It will probably turn into one of those things.
It will not. And if it does, you will deal with it.
Where am I?
You are hundreds of miles from the forest.
Oh, I died. I remember now. Oh, I'm dead. I died in the wood. I remember now. Huh. That was so long ago.
But you are not dead.
No, I'm just running from she who thirsts. I'm so far from my way, Shard. So far from my stone.
But you have all those shards.
They're the ones that I found when I was running. I had forgotten. I was awakened. Something happened. It awoke me. I was in the stone.
And you came back?
The stone was broken. In the old keep. He looks over towards the shattered ruins of Brass Keep. That is where I was sleeping.
It has been a long time for you. And no time at all.
Can you feel them? They're coming. Where can I hide? I don't think there's anywhere I can hide. Takes his hands in, takes out the shards. Save them.
Give them to me.
And the demons consume him.
Oh.
As his tear sharded soul, it rips through, and demonic faces slice through its body. He turns half into a spirit before you as the shards fall. You hear the laughter of the demonettes as they rip through one part, slicing his body into an even more ghostly form, and another, and another. And you can hear them licking their lips, slurping at everything that it is. Slurping. As clatter, 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 the way shards land in your hand.
I'm gonna run.
And the elf screams. A sound you will never forget. As its soul is consumed. Completely. You're running. As you're running, you can hear a voice. Alamennowyth. Alamennowyth. And a giggle, and then a low male voice. Alamennowyth. And a child. Alamennowyth. And another one. It's there! Another one. She won't escape.
Right, so I'm going.
Not this time.
I'm going to.
Not again.
I'm going to put the things in my cursed sack.
Drop into your cursed sack. Yeah, love it.
And stealth aether for all I'm worth.
Shadow coil. Stealth aether. Do yourself a stealth test.
5 successes.
Nice. As you skip along that path.
Right.
Let's hope that you haven't failed.
Oh no, 6 successes.
Nice. As you skip down
they
the
have
path.
to be actively looking for me. Yeah, they are. I got it.
Absolutely are. The voices of things that lay beyond becoming material.
They sound really angry.
Becoming material. The immaterial purpose suddenly gaining actual purpose in the material realm. So weak is the division between the material realm and the aether here. So weak, in fact, you can hear them.
Oh no,
Your
wait.
Material senses.
No, wait. I'm not going to run.
No, wait!
I'm still going to stealth aether.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk like a human.
Love it! Okay, do your stealthy difficulty 3 stealth test. Stealth rural. Let's not call it urban this time.
Oh. That's a success.
Is it 3 successes though?
Yeah, it's well beyond
Oh,
that.
nice.
I'm just checking that it is really a success. Yep, that's 7 successes.
4 successes as you purposely slow yourself down and you walk like a human. Allowing your human garb to weigh you down.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing your boots to crump. Taking on very much the aspect of humanity. And you feel one kiss past you. Cool test. And you do not want to fail this one.
4 successes.
Good. You feel that kiss upon your cheek. And it is a kiss unlike any you have ever felt before. It kisses your soul. And it's good. It kisses you. And it is good. And everything in you wants to just give up. as a voice goes. Anarian's blood. Anarian's blood. But you just human your way along as it passes. Your hair picks the wind of the spirit as it drifts by. No, it's not a spirit. It is a demon. A fragment, a something of a demon. But you've been smelled. It knows that you are. As much as that matters. You keep on walking as a human. Some 15 minutes later, all of the discomfort has gone. You're just a human making your way along this long, lonely mountain path.
I'm going to walk like a human for the rest of my life.
And there is nothing here that is at all elven. You can feel it on your cheek where it touched. You can feel it. You don't want to sleep. Sleeping brings you closer to the Aether. Sleeping brings you closer to Lilith in dreams and possibly what lies beyond. You're going to dream of that. You're certain of it. You're just a human. Humans don't dream like that. Humans have terribly mundane dreams. Mm-hmm. They dream things like being naked. Like that matters.
Humans get so drunk that they can't dream because they're just in a stupor.
Just like Alamennowyth used to.
Exactly.
And as she makes her way down,
No, just like fluvial. Oh yeah, Alamennowyth.
Alamennowyth
in the past
realizes that this isn't the first time that she has come to the conclusion that making her mind insensible is better than the alternative. Mm. She doesn't know what the Queen of the Wood, Alamennowyth, used to do, really. She just knows from other people's tales.
Quite a lot of other people's tales.
That she would drink a lot. Alamennowyth had assumed this was to avoid the prophecies, to avoid seeing the future and the horror that lay beyond the horizon of time. The horizon of Azir. The great storm of magic that lay in the future, that there was nothing beyond. Alamennowyth assumed it was that. But now, as she makes her way down towards the camp, she's coming to a different conclusion. She was old. She was nearing death. And the demons were coming. Mm. And it's not that she didn't want them. That's what she's realizing now, is that she did. She wanted to give up. She can feel it as much as she can feel it. Mm. Because she wants to get drunk. She's afraid of what she'll think. That touch was literally hellish and perfect. Because it knows your deepest secrets. It understands you. It keeps all your secrets.
I feel so seen.
So let's not think about that. You're just a human, making your way down like a human.
Humans don't know anything like that.
They know nothing at all as you stomp your way down towards the camp. You realise you're going to have to get back in. And you didn't actually announce you were leaving in the first place, which causes a bit of an issue because humans not necessarily that stealthy at getting into camps, and it might actually be better being stealthy to get in. Or you could just holler your way in. How is Alamennowyth going to approach this?
But, I mean, I can't stay a human forever. Like, to get in, I'm going to have to be someone who's allowed in, and that is Alamennowyth. I don't really want to sneak in.
So what, you're just going to go up to them and say, "Ha! I've been wandering around. Ha! Let me in.
I went out for a walk.
I'm an elf. Who can stop me?" Ha ha ha. Or are you going to do something else? What's your plan?
I probably could still sneak in. It'll just be harder.
Yeah,
Just
we're going to give it a go. It's going to be difficulty 3.
Yeah.
You do have the talent that means that unless they're looking for you specifically, they're not going to see you, but they are looking out for people potentially sneaking in, so it will be contested.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Is that bad?
Well, tell me what you've got first.
I have got... it's still rural, right?
Fucking amazing. Yes.
I have got 5 6 successes.
5, 6, 6 successes. I have got a really, really impressive... Let's just turn it around.
59?
No.
99.
99. Clearly, the guard on this side has abandoned his post. The whispered calls,
Oh dear.
okay, along the trail have filled him with, colloquially speaking, the willies. And he has just headed down to get himself a drink. Okay, where he's shaking slightly, not feeling very good about whatever may lie beyond. He's already getting called upon by his sergeant. Get back to your post. And he's like, I'm going back in him up. Not going back quite immediately, giving you all the time that you need to sneak in over the palisade and then just human your way back towards the camp. 100% a human. Not an issue at all. And we will conclude that particular interlude with you and your cursed sack and what lies within.
Vala's pipe. It was pipes. Sorry.
The whole stream that you got there. Well done.
Thanks.
And inside there is a collection of way shards. There is the gold pouch that you were given inside your cursed sack, your blue bag. But one of the shards isn't a shard.
Mm-hmm.
One of the shards is, in fact, that. He says, pointing towards her magic item pile.
The amulet of Orc.
One of them is indeed not a shard per se. It's more of an amulet without the big loop to hold it by. So you'll need to either, if you want to wear it, find yourself something, a string, a chain, or some
TBH,
other
I'll
way.
just pop it in my sack.
Or you can just leave it in your sack. Why don't you read that out?
Okay, amulet of Orc.
Orc.
An amulet of amber that twists the material realm around its wearer. Opponents automatically strike last in close combat, even if they have talents, magical abilities, or anything else that allows them to strike first. Further, opponents who charge you lose their attack gained from the maneuver.
Which is exactly how that particular, as it turns out, ghost-like elf wasn't getting overwhelmed. Because it charged him, but did not get to attack. It attempted to strike him and failed. It had initiative ridiculous and was always striking last. Because of that particular artifact which was held amongst his waystones. And you return.
Poor wee guy.
Absolutely a human. Desperately
Not
trying
upset
to
at all
avoid.
about that elf, because I'm a human.
Yeah, you're not bothered. But underneath it all, Baruviel is crying. As she has a drink. And Alamennowyth drinks herself to what little slumber she has that evening. Which brings us to the end of this particular tale of war. It wasn't an elf that she met on the road at all. It was a lost ghost that had recently been released from the waystone that lay at the centre of that ruin that is now Brass Keep and was unleashed by the end of the storm. And got caught. But hey, you saved some shards.
I didn't save him.
You did not save him. And on that sad note, we bring this one to an end. A boo! A boo!